focus on CPTSD and BPD. I'm going to try to address both as it relates to argument. So, have you ever found yourself in a heated argument and wondered where it came from? What do you think drives someone to react intensely over seemingly small issues? How can past trauma shape our reactions in current relationships? And have you ever felt misunderstood or invalidated in your emotions, and how did you respond to that? Why do you think some people struggle more with emotional regulation than others? And in your experience, how does fear of abandonment impact your relationship? So these are some things that we want to explore and get to the root of. I think in order to understand BPD or CPTSD and why they may argue with people, we have to get to the root of why they may argue with people. BPD, you might be thrown completely out of whack because they might be fighting and arguing with you and it doesn't make sense. It feels like it's contrived. It feels like you're just trying to figure out a reason to fight with me. It could be largely because they are afraid of abandonment. You're about to leave, you're about to go home, and they don't want you to. And so it stirs up rage and they want to fight with you. They don't want you to leave. It's scary. It sends them into upheaval. Whereas with a CPTSD person, they may not have fears of abandonment to that degree, or they can control it better. They might have a little bit, but they may be arguing from a different space. It could be more of I'm trying to control the situation. I'm feeling a little agitated today. I'm feeling irritated. I'm feeling all out of sorts. And I'm listening for, it's almost like they are in their survival mode has been activated and they are fighting for control in a sense. Think about it. Think about even if you don't have BPD or CPTSD and you're feeling irritated and agitated and a lot of things are going wrong and you're feeling a lot of anxiety because you're in a new relationship and you're trying to figure it out and you're talking to a family member and you just feel like everything, you're listening for opportunities to disagree or to argue. It could become a bad habit. It could be because you are feeling out of sorts and irritated. So we can all get into that space, but is it productive? Does it build someone up or does it tear them down? Are you trying to control the other person? Because that's what it boils down to, is you are trying to control that person's thoughts, the way that they feel. And is that fair? Or should we free people to think and feel the way they want to think and feel? And we listen and try to learn from it or ask questions like, tell me more about that. Help me understand your perspective better. I want you to remember those two phrases, and I want you to try to do that the next time you feel like you want to argue with somebody. I remember one day I was having a conversation with a lady and I felt like we couldn't get anywhere because it was everything. It was, oh, wait a minute. Oh, look at that blue flower. That flower isn't blue. It's lavender. Okay, I thought it was blue. Well, it isn't. If you look, blue is a little bit more to the right and purple is more to the left. So that's not the color. Oh, okay. And then she might have said something like, well, I had a pair of scissors and I put them in my purse. Oh, okay. You put them in your purse? Oh, okay, that's interesting. Well, I mean, why wouldn't I put it in my purse? What's wrong with putting scissors in my purse? Don't you put scissors in your purse? Don't you use it to cut your burger? I mean, it was like every little thing. So we really couldn't have a conversation. And I could feel myself getting mad and defensive and like, well, I didn't say that you said that. And that's the kind of arguments that you can get into when BPD or CPTSD is in argument mode. It You go into this lane of, but I didn't say that. And but I didn't say that you said that you said that. You see what I'm saying? So they'll say something like you'll say, I remember this lady that I used to work with, and she would do that. Like she might say, I just put these shoes on and they're hurting my feet. And I might say, okay. So you said that they're hurting your feet. Oh, okay. Maybe because you've been on your feet all day. I didn't say I was on my feet all day. I said my feet are hurting because I have on these shoes. And then it's like, well, I didn't say that you said that you didn't say that. It'll be something where it's like it's almost like you're being drawn into a fight that is really senseless at the end of the day. Now, if you're arguing about politics and what makes more sense, then okay, those can be very heated and you can come up with a lot of reasons. But the type of arguments that I'm talking about is, have you ever been reeled into an argument that's so senseless? BPD might hang up in your face and you're like, wow, like that was so nothing. And then maybe you call the person back and say, okay, can you tell me why you hung up in my face? And they can't even tell you why they hung up in your face. And because you made me mad. Okay, well, what did I say? What did I do? Well, you were being mean to me. Okay, well, can you be specific and tell me what did I say that was actually mean? And they can't do it. They can't do it. The other thing, too, is when you're arguing with somebody with CPTSD or BPD, they may describe themselves as very easy to get along with, very kind. I don't create problems for anyone. And if they are CPTSD, then to a certain extent, that may be true. I think with BPD, if they're not attached to you, then that may be true. But if they are attached to you, or they're closer to you, or they're your daughter or son or husband, they're probably going to catch it a lot worse than other people are going to. If it's CPTSD, it may be a trauma trigger. So, what strategies do you think can help someone dealing with intense emotions or past trauma? How can you help them? A lot of times, people with CPTSD and BPD, they have difficulty regulating their emotions when they're upset. I remember working with a guy, and I don't think he had abandonment issues. Not really. So, I mean, that wasn't driving things. But I do think he had CPTSD. He often said, I think I have PTSD. And I thought, no, it's more complex. But great worker otherwise, like very productive, very hard worker, very focused. But I remember one day when everything got changed around. It was outside of his normal routine of what he normally did. And that is frustrating for any and everybody when for most people, if there's a routine change, it's going to be frustrating. But most people try to hold it together and try to be respectful because we're all having to deal with this change. With him, the boss told me he is doing the opposite of everything I say to do. The complete opposite. If I say go in a circle, he makes a square on the other side of the building. And it's just this opposite to the point where he just didn't even come to work the next day. And I remember that day he told me, you don't understand how I feel. And I was kind of like, well, I kind of do. No, you don't. You don't understand. So taking a CPTSD or a BPD out of their routine could be a reason why they start to argue and fight with you, because now they're not in control. It brings up the trauma where things they didn't have control over certain aspects of their life, and now you're putting them back in that same situation and they can't handle it. It brings up anxiety. And then what does anxiety trigger? It triggers arguments in a lot of people. That's when they feel like fighting, because I don't know what's happening next. This is out of my routine. If it's a borderline, I can't check on the people that I normally check on to see if they're still there. So now I'm freaked out and wondering, where are they? So throwing them off of their patterns and their routines can be a reason why they start to fight and argue with you. So let's just quickly explore a couple of differences, or a few differences. So, we want to talk about how, why people argue. If they have BPD, the number one thing is going to be fear of abandonment, intense anxiety about being left or rejected, emotional dysregulation. We know that borderlines can have difficulty managing their emotions, leading to overreactions. And if you are BPD, I want you to try to be open to hearing me say that sometimes you're not regulating your emotions, and that is what causes a lot of your intense reactions, because they can't control themselves. It's like we can all feel really irritated, but you know that, what? I can't take it out on this person. Like, you rationalize it. It's an outburst that they have difficulty controlling. BPD has a need for control, so they have a desire to assert control in relationships. They can have communication difficulties, so struggles with expressing their feelings. They can be feeling invalidated by someone. So when they feel unheard or invalidated, it could lead to confrontations. And then they have black and white thinking, which is called splitting, which is a tendency to see things in extremes. So when you're having a conversation, they're not thinking in terms of the gray. They're thinking in terms of either it's all left or it's all right. It can't be a little bit of both. Now, what about complex PTSD, aka CPTSD? Why might they argue with you? They may misinterpret your intentions. So, perceiving benign actions as threats, they can have past trauma triggers. So, certain situations triggering memories of past trauma. They can have projection of past experiences, projecting past relationship dynamics onto current interactions and not realizing that that's what they're doing. And they could also struggle with low self-esteem, feelings of inadequacy, leading to defensive arguments. So some behaviors may overlap between BPD and CPTSD because both involve complex emotional responses rooted in trauma. So understanding these distinctions can help in addressing specific needs and challenges faced by individuals with these conditions. So rule number one is you have to be aware that you are argumentative. If you're talking to somebody and they don't see themselves as argumentative, whether they're BPD or CPTSD, then you're really not going to go anywhere with it. Sometimes I may throw in a little bit of, I really want to say something, but I don't know if you're going to listen to me. And for some people, that might make them madder, but for some people, it might kind of, instead of actually fighting with them, saying something like, I really would like to share something with you, and I'm wondering if you will listen to what I'm saying, rather than, I didn't say that was green, that's blue. You're not going to talk to me that way. And that's what sometimes people will do. And so trying to kind of ease into, Or sometimes I might say a little quietly, uh-oh, she's arguing with me, so I guess I can't say it. Or, uh-oh, here we go. But like not, we're fixing to, you're being mean again. You're acting stupid. You're acting dumb. But just kind of, uh-oh, here we go. Just something to kind of like open them up a little bit. So, what are your strategies as BPD or CPTSD? I at least want you to open up and reflect and think about this. Getting out of a pattern, which this is what it is. It's a loop, it's a pattern. Takes practice, it takes restraint. You can do it. You can stop yourself from fighting about things that are nonsensical. You can stop yourself from doing it. And if you are a non BPD or CPTSD person, how do you handle it when the person that's closest to you wants to argue, wants to fight? I personally have practiced not engaging in all of that. Like, just let the person speak, let them express themselves. If they come back at me with an argument, I just try to let it go, because I can fight. I can be argumentative also. Like, I could be defensive. You don't have to have these things to be defensive, but I've had to work on that period of not being a hot-tempered person. And I can say I've done much better at it, but it takes practice. It takes, okay, I gotta be quiet. Let me not fight with them. It's not worth it. Because when you fight with somebody with BPD, it can blow up into a huge fight. And then weeks of I'm not speaking to you is just not worth it. It's not worth it. Just let them get it out of their system. For anybody, sometimes just being listened to, just being heard can make a huge difference. So be that sounding board. Let them get their thoughts out. Sometimes they're going to take punches at you and get smart with you. What did you mean by that? Why did you say that? That's so silly. I don't know why you think that way, or you think on such an infantile level. Sometimes BPD or CPTSDs can be fighters too. And sometimes they can be great fighters. Like, it could be great because they will fight for the underdog. But when it's not that type of situation, it could be interpreted as mean, and you don't want to be interpreted as mean. You want to be seen for the beautiful, wonderful, amazing person that you are. So it takes practice. Like, this person is going to throw a jab every now and then. Just take the jab. I know who I am at this point. You can't tell me that I'm a terrible, awful, horrible, stupid idiot, and that's not going to work. It's just not going to work. I don't need your approval. And occasionally you might be confrontational back and say, I don't appreciate you yelling at me. You're arguing, you're fighting with me. But sometimes if they want a fight, then you have just opened up Pandora's box for them to take all of their aggression out on you. So sometimes just let it go. Like, every 3 times, just let some things go. It's not worth it. Just understand that they are dealing with enormous anxiety that you may never understand. So that's just my 2 cents. But you could tell me your 2 cents in the comments. So, hey, beautiful people, thanks for watching. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments and what topics you want me to explore next. Your feedback means so much to me. Let's keep this adventure going. Don't break up with me. Be sure to subscribe and like the video. Check out my books on Amazon for insights on enhancing your love life, navigating narcissistic personalities, and exploring the 16 Myers-Briggs personality types. Links are in the description. You're amazing, and I can't wait to see you on the next video.